This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
1, 2, 3, lovely.
Yes, good evening everyone. It's Thursday night, it's 8 p.m. and you're welcome to the Maastricht edition on Facebook Live. I am your co-host Tracy, and together with Jo, we'll be bringing you our regular segments and the usual fun and games. Next to that, we'll also be joined by a special guest, Zander from Suz Shoes. Stay tuned.
Yay! Good evening everybody. Welcome to the Maastricht edition. Here we are again. Hi Trace.
Hello darling, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm fine, I'm just putting my ear back in. Very well, I'm cold, Jo, cold. It's nippy out.
It is very nipply out actually,
yes.
Which it's a bit nipply in.
Right.
Well, in some areas of our house it's a bit nipply. I mean, I'm actually in the warm bit, if I'm honest.
Right. Yes.
You don't want to go into our hallway. The hallway's cold.
Oh, yeah. Hallways do tend to be cold. And also bathrooms and toilets can be a bit nippy in the evening time as well. But it's chilly. I've been outside. I've been feeding the birdies. They're hungry at the moment. So they've been nibbling through the various feeders quite quickly. But other than that, well, doing all right, all things considered. But as you know, we're holding up for a big announcement here in the Netherlands tomorrow, aren't we?
Let's not start with the doom and gloom.
Well, let's get it out of the way and move on to happy.
Oh my God! It's every single day. You just look at the news. You're like, oh no! This is supposed to be a happy time of the year. I love autumn. The colours of autumn. I absolutely love autumn, but. No, I'm sorry. Even the weather has been reading the news, I think, and it's just like, oh, I'm giving up. I'm
done with yeah, we shall see how we go, but aside from that, all is well. We're healthy and there's still wine in the world, so cheers.
There's still wine. Cheers, and cheers to anybody out there who's having wine. Renee's in the house. Cheers, Renee.
Happy Thanksgiving even. Like we need an excuse.
Yes, it's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all our North American friends, actually.
Oh yes, and Canadian.
Yeah, well, I think, are they classed as North American? I think they are classed as North American, aren't they?
North American, Canadian.
I don't know.
I would separate.
I have a feeling if we had a Canadian on here, I'd probably get slapped through the screen for saying something like that.
Right, and rightly so. But happy Thanksgiving to anyone who might be celebrating today.
Well, actually, I found out today that it's celebrated on various dates, not just in the US and Canada, but also in Grenada, in St. Lucia, and Liberia.
Liberia? Unexpected. That's a good one for a pub quiz, that.
It is. I tell you, we are so educational on this programme. But yes, Liberia, I don't know if they're tucking into Turkey, but they'll be tucking into something. If there's any Liberians watching, please do tell us, what do you eat at Thanksgiving? Are you on the turkey or are you on something else? I really don't know. But yeah, of course, it has different connotations, I think, throughout the world, because in the UK there's sort of like a harvest festival thing that goes on at this time of the year as well, and apparently they also have similar stuff going on in Germany and Japan.
Really?
I can't imagine the Japanese tucking into a big turkey dinner.
I know that for Christmas time, it's a tradition in Japan for them to all go to KFC for Christmas dinner.
No.
It's true. It's a really big thing. But I'm not sure for Thanksgiving if that's the same type of thing. I mean, I know Thanksgiving, it's from the movies, it's the only thing. It's all about the turkey and the different pies and the president pardoning the poor little turkey that year and that kind of thing. But I think it's a huge holiday. So I expect in the parts of the world where they are celebrating, things are happening.
Yes, things are definitely happening. And of course, a lot of it is to do with food as well. So I think, in North America, US and Canada, they definitely go for the turkey dinner. But of course, it's not just about that. They've got other food going on as well. And I was just having, because Of course, the Brits. Actually, I should ask you as well, being Irish, of course, but I'll ask you that in a second. The Brits, we have a tendency to do the turkey dinner more at Christmas time. But I was looking at what they have on offer. There are some similarities there as far as what they have to eat, as far as like their side dishes are concerned. You know, they'll have mashed potatoes, they have cranberry sauce. They like lots of carrots, parsnips, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, all this kind of cauliflower, that kind of thing. But they like sweet potatoes. And here's the thing, they like to have extra sweet potatoes. So the sweet potatoes have already got the sweet thing going on anyway, but then they'll add brown sugar or even marshmallows.
How very bizarre.
I know.
Yeah, and there's also they have a lot of yams. What's a yam?
Yeah, I thought that was sweet potato.
Oh, maybe it is sweet potato. Then why they call it yams? Maybe that's the one with the sugar and the marshmallows or something.
Yeah, maybe. Well, look, the Americans out there, come on, inform us. We need to know what this is all about. And of course, then you've got on top of that are the pies.
Oh, yes, so the pies.
They love a pie. So it could be pumpkin pie, apple pie, pecan pie, cherry pie, or a cranberry and walnut pie.
Ooh, lots of pies there.
That sounds good.
They do. I just skipped straight to the dessert, I think.
Actually starting with dessert is probably a good way to go.
It makes sense because then, you know, you've got the most room. It's always at the end, the poor desserts, you're too full for the dessert. So it's kind of, you know, unappreciated sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe go the other way around. Yeah,
absolutely. Mika's in the house. Hi, Mika. Nice to have you with us. Good evening. You're just in time to find out actually what our book of the week is.
Oh, hurrah. Does it have a Thanksgiving theme?
No, it doesn't. But thanks for asking. This, of course, has been brought to us by the English bookstore here in Maastricht. And the lovely Kirsty every week send us over a recommendation of a book of the week. And this week, she has chosen a book by Maggie Holman called The Things We've Seen. Now, Maggie Holman actually is a resident of Maastricht, and you can see her on occasion in the English bookstore. She every now and then gives a bit of a talk or signs a few books and such like. So keep an eye on the English bookstore's events page, because you may well see her popping up there at some point. But this is The Things We've Seen, part novel, part short stories, realistic, but with a dash of magic. The Things We've Seen is a charming book.
Very clever.
Yes. It is the story of a writers group at a care home, and with each chapter, a different character reads the short story that they have written. And their tales are personal, touching, and a little unearthly.
Well.
So it can be read as like one story at a time, but apparently it's not a big book, so it's short enough that you could probably read it all at once. It's described as concise and moving, and reading it feels like watching a play or a movie.
Okay.
So written by the wonderful Maggie Holman. So as we said, local girl, author of several other books that you could also pick up at the English bookstore. They're all sort of slightly supernatural, or they have a touch of the supernatural, but they're very readable books, and they also would make a great gift.
Christmas stocking. Thank you, Jo. And we forgot our theme song, but that was Book of the Week, Book of the Week. Book of the week, book of the week, book of the week, book of the week, book of the week.
Lovely.
Book of the week. We make ourselves laugh. Anyway, thank you, Kirsty, as always. Very nice. And be sure to stop by the English bookstore on the Frankenstraat in Maastricht. Lots to see.
Well, I think people like a book at Christmas, don't they? I mean, it's quite a traditional gift.
think so. And frankly, I think people have read a lot more in this last 2 years, in fact, because, we haven't been out as much as we might normally have been. And indeed, as we come into the darker days, it is a bit more of a traditional time to read a little bit. And of course, if you've got Christmas holidays coming up, you might finally find the time as well.
That's very true. If we're all going to be locked up again, then out will come the books. And of course, the thing is, where you have this sort of like, it's split these days, isn't it, as to whether you want a real book or whether you want to go for your Kindles, your e-readers, for example. So the thing is, when it comes to gifts, you can't really give a download, can you?
Well, thanks be to God. I'm sorry, but I'm all about real books made from recycled paper, etc., preferably secondhand books. I love secondhand books. The more read through they are, the better. It's nice to give them a second life. But I can't abide the Kindle. There you go.
Yeah.
I've said it.
I do understand what you mean. I mean, I use both. I mean, I like the Kindle, especially when you're going on holiday. I think it's nice to have a Kindle then, because you don't have to carry so much. And there's nothing worse, I think, than going on holiday with what you consider to be a good book, and you think, oh, I can't wait to start this. And then after the first chapter, you're like, this isn't going to work for me on holiday. No, I need to find another book.
You see, Jo, that's why you have to pick a book from an author you're familiar with. And that's why you also pack at least 3 books. That way, you're covered.
Maybe you shouldn't have new books on holiday. Go with the ones that you've read before and you want to go back into.
Perhaps, or following on a continuation of, or an author that's never let you down. For me, very safely, for example, Maeve Binchy would always be one that I would take on holiday.
Love Maeve Binchy.
Exactly. You know what you're getting. The standard of writing is going to be good. You know you're going to be into it immediately. It's a safe bet. But if you don't like reading fantasy novels, then maybe don't take one of those types of books with you if you're going on vacation, But you could pop by Kirsty at the English bookstore, because she's actually a former librarian. Now, she knows a lot about books and things. And they also have a secondhand book section.
There you go. Yeah. There is a bit of history, isn't there, when you pick up a second-hand book? So how many times has it been? If it's well thumbed, then
exactly,
it's probably been loved.
And often in the front few pages, you might see something like "To Paul, December 1972" or something like that. It's always like, ooh, this kind of thing. I actually have secondhand books that were former library books, because it says in the cover, "Please return to the blah, blah, blah in Brighton," or something like that. But it's mine years and years later. But indeed. But for those of you who like your Kindle, away with you. Enjoy.
Well, we have options, which is nice. We have options, which is really good. And I tell you what else we have as far as options are concerned. There are things to do around the city. It may not seem like it, but there are a few things to do around the city. So why don't we head over to Christina from Maastricht and find out what you could be doing this weekend?
Alrighty.
Hello, it's Christina from the Maastricht. I'm here to bring you this weekend's events. As you can imagine, there's a lot being postponed or cancelled, but there are still some nice things you can do in and around town. This weekend, from Friday to Sunday, there is the Fashion Clash Festival. It's an international and interdisciplinary festival where you can discover work by the new generation of designers and artists from around the world. So they've got a range of things over the weekend. Exhibitions, fashion, theatre performances, talks, workshops. Really worth checking that out. All the information is on their website or on our own website, maastrichter.com. Friday the 26th of November in the Theatre and Het Vrijthof, a vocal quartet called Rock 4, and they're doing a concert called Back to Basic. So it's 4 guys with very different voices, and it's a completely a cappella concert. They do a lot of covers from people like Rag and Bone Man, Pink Floyd, Sting, Beatles, and it's completely without backing, so you won't only hear the voices, you'll hear a bit of kind of beatboxing. Everything is completely made by themselves. That should be a nice, unusual one to go to.
Got to be a joker, he just do what it please.
Also Friday the 26th at the Muziekgieterij in Maastricht, singer-songwriter J.E. Zander. He's performing a gig there. He's got a very melodic voice. Have a listen.
Know this, I've told you I don't dance, but the music and your beauty, well, they move me, so I take you by the hands.
Sunday the 28th, it's a classical concert in the morning. So it's 11:30, and with the ticket price you get a free tea or coffee and a piece of fly. I mean, what a good way to start your Sunday. So it's a trio called the Trio Strandman. 3 Spanish musicians that play the violin, cello and piano. And this program will have some Beethoven, Rachmaninoff and Shostakovich. And I don't know if I said, it's at the Theater an het Vrijthof in Maastricht. Sunday the 28th in the afternoon, so this is 3:30 in Herla, jazz concert, the Yuri Honing Quartet. For something to do midweek, Wednesday the 1st of December, can you believe it's December already? Theater an het Vrijthof, the Analogues. So they're doing a tour called Let It Be Abbey Road. It's a concert of Beatles tracks and the sound is very, very spot on actually. They're giving themselves a task of re-recording the whole Beatles back catalogue. So yeah, an interesting life goal. So they have a concert on Wednesday evening in our Theater an het Vrijthof.
It's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright.
Enjoy your week, and please let us know if you've seen anything that you like. You can Instagram us or send us a Facebook message, and yeah, enjoy, bye.
To be going and enjoying over the coming week. But as Tracy was mentioning at the beginning of the show, things could be changing from tomorrow. So you do have to check these venues before you go, see if things are getting postponed or even cancelled.
Yeah.
I think there's a possibility that things are going to go back online again, possibly, you know?
Yeah, well, it's very hard to know. There's so much speculation, and, you know, you can't trust and believe everything you read and hear, you know. And the best thing is, I think, to wait until tomorrow, 7 p.m. The official press conference will be happening, and then after that, of course, you can follow up and see how it might impact you and what might or might not happen. But indeed, could be in the evening time that some things are kind of not happening. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Watch this space. We shall keep you up to speed. Also, RTV English News also is a good place to find out what is happening. They're very up to the minute. So we've got Zander popping in later on, of course, from Suz Shoes. He's going to be talking all things booty, as it were. Before we move on, though, Tracy,
Yes.
I did touch on this earlier. I wanted to ask you, what is classed as a traditional Christmas dinner in Ireland?
Well, we're very similar to the UK, really. I mean, it's also pretty much turkey and ham. The ham is probably the Irish element that's added on the side. It comes with various sauces. I think it's usually some sort of parsley sauce, I believe. Cranberry sauce can also be put in there. It's a lot of spuds. It's Brussels sprouts. It's the veggies, things like that. So it's not all that different from what you might see in the United Kingdom, really. So, yeah.
And of course, there's always an argument about Brussels sprouts. Do you like Brussels sprouts? Do you not like Brussels sprouts? It's a Marmite question. You either love it or hate it. I love Brussels sprouts.
I hate them. Really do not like them. And even I only see them once a year, and I still don't like them. So no, not for me.
At this time of year, we probably eat them once a week, I would say. We absolutely love them.
God,
I don't like the result, but we won't go into that.
Let's not.
let's not. But I tell you what, we can do. I think it's probably time to chill a little bit, Tracy. What do you think? Should we put our feet up?
I think so. Yeah. Why not? Why not? It's that time of evening.
It's that time of evening where we're just going to relax a little bit. We're going to put our feet up. This is where the whole of Maastricht comes to a grinding halt, because they want to know what's been going on in days of yore, because it is time for This Day in History. Oh. I think maybe we should get some percussion instruments in.
Great. You remember last week we were talking about how Christmas is coming?
Yes.
Look what I found. It's Christmas bell sounds. So we can use these as a next fun. Yes.
Okay. Yes. I think maybe some practice is required, actually, because oh dear. Yeah. Okay. Excellent idea. We're on it. I feel the Christmas carol's coming, for sure. It is the 25th of November, 2021. And on this very day, in 1817, it was obviously a slow news day, because they reported the first sword swallower in the US. In fact, it was in New York. They were performing for the first time. Now, the sword swallowing thing, Tracy, I don't know about you. It doesn't appeal. I don't get it. I find it a bit bizarre.
It is quite a strange thing, I guess. Definitely something one should not do without practice.
Yes, wise words for sure. In 1884, on this very day, John B. Meyenberg of St. Louis patents evaporated milk.
Condensed milk, that is it?
Do you know the difference between evaporated milk and condensed milk?
Not really.
Oh, the enthusiasm, Tracy. Honestly.
I know.
Okay, well, you're going to find out anyway. Evaporated milk is made by simmering milk to reduce the water, hence the name, and it's unsweetened. Condensed milk, on the other hand, is milk cooked with a lot of sugar, and the result is a thick pudding-like milk that is actually sweeter than maybe some icing that you get on cakes, for example.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. I don't really use either of them, but there we go.
Well, I believe one of them, probably the evaporated milk, is very close to coffee milk, actually. But I don't drink coffee, so I don't know about that. But hey, I'm sure our listeners know what's going on. 1920, on this very day, the first Thanksgiving parade was held in Philadelphia. And in 1949, Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, appears in the music charts for the very first time.
Oh, that's nice.
Is that a favourite of yours, Trace?
What, Rudolph?
Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer.
Oh, the Christmas Carol, you mean?
Yes.
It's not my favourite Christmas Carol, no. But it's not I wouldn't turn it off if it came on.
Well, if Michael Bublé was singing it, we'd probably sort of.
Well, Michael Bublé could sing anything, and you'd listen to
this
it.
is very true.
He's the king of Christmas now these days.
He is the king of Christmas. It's true. In 1963, on this very day, JFK is laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. And a few years later, in 1969, John Lennon returns his OBE to protest against UK support for the Vietnam War.
Ah, yes.
1975, on this very day, Netherlands grants Suriname independence. It's a national day. So, happy Independence Day to Suriname.
Hurrah. Look at you. Well done. Good job. I'm not sure we have a huge following in Suriname, but if anyone is tuning in.
Well, I do believe there are quite a few I don't know if I'm going to say this right. Surinamese people. Is it Surinamese? I think so. Please forgive me, all the people from Suriname who are living here. I think it's Surinamese, but I think there are quite a few living in the Netherlands, actually.
I stand corrected.
So they're probably having a little party. Anyway, here's the thing. In 1977, on this very day, David Steed balanced stationary on a bike for 9 hours and 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Why, I think is the word, actually. I mean, there was no support or anything. It's not like an exercise bike. He was just on a normal push bicycle, and he just balanced himself for 9 hours.
There you go.
You're loving this, aren't you? 1984. William Schroeder, on this very day, is the second person to receive an artificial heart. And also on this very day, on the 25th of November, the cream of British pop are gathered at Psalm Studios in London to record the historic Do They Know It's Christmas? The single was sung by Bob Geldof and Midge, featuring Paul Young, Bono, Boy George, Sting, George Michael. It went on to sell over 3 million copies in the UK, becoming the best-selling record ever, and raised over $13.6 million worldwide.
Yeah,
I remember when that came out.
Yeah, that was quite the thing. But they've done remakes of that song, haven't they?
I think there's been 2 remakes, actually.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, the US also did a version as well.
Yeah.
Feed the World. That was the one.
Now, in 1996, on this day, after 24 years, the Disneyland Main Street Electrical Parade came to an end. I've never been to Disneyland. I've never seen the parade, but I can imagine it probably was quite special. In 2017, on this day, the longest known frozen embryo was successfully born and delivered in Tennessee. Emma Wren Gibson. She had been frozen for 24 years.
Wow, gosh.
24 years is quite amazing, isn't it? And in 2018, oh my goodness, EU leaders approve an agreement for Britain to leave the EU. It's already 3 years.
Wow, it's kind of been overshadowed a bit by COVID, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, fortunately for Boris.
Yeah, I know. Bless him. Gosh, but yeah, it was all Brexit, and then it's now COVID. But hopefully, when COVID moves on, then it's going to be back, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
And finally, on this day in 2020, the New York Times names its 25 greatest actors of the 21st century. Number 1, Denzel Washington.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I know. I do like Denzel. I do like Denzel, but I thought I was.
Who was number 2?
I don't know.
Oh, right, never mind. I was just going to see who the top 3 were, just to see. But yeah, no, it's an interesting choice. I must admit, I don't know many of his films, but yeah, there you go. I guess
I like him, but do I like him that much? I don't know. Sorry, Denzel, if you're watching.
Okay.
Yes, probably just upset Denzel.
Well, he's just tuned out now, Jo. God.
Yes, we just lost somebody. Oh my God, that was him. Let's have a look at some birthdays. 1844 on this day, Carl Benz, the German inventor and engine designer and car manufacturer from Mercedes-Benz, was born in Baden-Württemberg in 1929. Joe DiMaggio, the American baseball player, center fielder, apparently, was born in 1914 in California. 1950, Jocelyn Brown, the American R&B and dance singer, was born in Kingston, North Carolina. And in 1955, Bruno Tonioli, the Italian British dancer and choreographer, probably best known as being formerly one of the judges on Strictly Come Dancing, and currently one of the judges on Dancing with the Stars in the US. It's his birthday today as well. And a big shout out from Trevor, wants to wish Mick Benterman a happy 80th birthday. And the Portuguese posse would like to wish Paul Threthwaite in South Africa a happy birthday too. So happy birthday to anybody who is celebrating a birthday today. Hope you're having a lovely day, however you are choosing to spend it. And that was this day in history. Thank you all.
Very well
Now,
done.
before we move on, there is something I did want to mention. I don't know if anybody out there has been watching The One Show this week on the BBC, but Maastricht's son, André Rieu, was on there this week having a chat with the host on The One Show at the Beeb, which went past quite nicely. It wasn't anything terribly exciting. It was a nice little interview. But apparently, and I didn't see this, he had an interview on another channel in the UK on a programme called This Morning, and they had to apologise for his language.
Well, the BBC don't like any sort of foul language, and Mr. Rieu was referring to a former piano teacher of his and used a choice phrase, a little bit in jest, I believe. But indeed, he got beeped, and poor old Philip Schofield had to do the terribly sorry for that, viewers, and move on from there. So poor Mr. Rieu. But there we go. Nice interview. You can watch it back. It's on the internet. You can find it. It's about 8 minutes long.
I will have a look.
Have a look and see. But he spoke a little bit about Maastricht and showed the home that he's living in here, and spoke about his early days with learning instruments, and indeed how his piano teacher didn't exactly instill a love of piano in him, which in some ways maybe worked out for the best because he picked the violin instead, you know.
I mean, he's had a pretty good career out the violin, let's be fair.
He hasn't done that badly with it.
He hasn't done bad, has he? He hasn't.
You know.
But I think it's probably time to find out what else has been happening in the world of news. You ready for us, Tracy?
I am ready to go, yes.
Tracy Taylor with the news.
Yes, good evening, everyone. It's November 25th, and you're watching the Maastricht edition on Facebook Live. First, let's take a look at your weekend weather. And yes, there is talk of snow. As we move into Friday, we will see some misty rain with temperatures reaching 5 degrees. However, there is snow forecast for Saturday and Sunday with daytime temperatures reaching 4 degrees. Please do take care in case of slippery surfaces and below freezing temperatures at night. Moving to your bulletin for tonight and a roundup of local and domestic news. The Dutch government has been warned to sort out its communication strategy in relation to the coronavirus. This comes after bringing back measures which had already been scrapped. The Council of State has said that the cabinet must avoid a yo-yo strategy to bring clear messages and avoid creating any further confusion. It appears that the Dutch outbreak management team has advised that all hospitality businesses like bars, cafes and restaurants, along with cultural venues and close contact professions, should close as of 5 p.m, with essential stores like supermarkets opened until 8. It's believed these measures would help cut down on the number of new coronavirus infections. The exact rules will be announced in a press conference at 7 p.m. tomorrow. The press conference, which has been brought forward by 1 week given the current situation around COVID-19 in the Netherlands. In other news tonight, some Dutch politicians want fewer online gambling adverts to protect children against possible addiction. Online gambling has become legal in the Netherlands since 1 month ago, but political parties presented a proposal today to limit gambling advertisements. For example, that no such ads would be shown before 9 p.m. Drugs worth an estimated €9.8 million have been seized by custom officers at a port in Dublin. The drugs were found in a concealed furniture delivery which arrived from the Netherlands. Irish police said international law enforcement partners are involved in the ongoing investigation. The drugs were uncovered using an X-ray scanner and a detector dog named Robbie. Moving to Maastricht, and Mayor Annemarie Pen de Strake is in favour of a short and hard lockdown. The mayor is said to be very concerned about current infection rates and the influx of patients into hospital. The number of coronavirus infections rose by 76% in Maastricht last week compared with the previous week. In fact, more corona cases have been detected in Limburg than anywhere else in Western Europe. The municipality of Maastricht is taking measures to manage the expected crowds during tomorrow's so-called Black Friday. LED screens have been installed in the city centre, which urge visitors to adhere to COVID measures. Security guards and coordinators will also be ensuring that there is a safe flow of shoppers. Maastricht will also deploy traffic controllers in several places and will provide posters with coronavirus rules to local businesses. Fashion platform Fashion Clash from Maastricht has received the Inspiration Prize from the Limburg Culture Fund. The award was presented by Vice President Edmund Staal earlier today. According to the jury, the people behind Fashion Clash, a platform that gives young designers and artists the opportunity to show their work, are an example for the way they embrace themes like diversity and inclusion and make them visible. And as of April 1st, 2022, Ryanair will fly from Maastricht-Aken Airport to London Stansted. The Irish airline is set to fly twice a week on Monday and Friday mornings. And finally today, the fourth Thursday in November, is the Thanksgiving holiday in the USA and Canada. For anyone tuning in tonight who is marking this occasion, happy Thanksgiving. And that's it for tonight. For more local news, you can follow RTV News in English on Facebook and Instagram. If you are a local business, be sure to check out the Support Your Local Business South Limburg Facebook page, a joint initiative between #Maastricht and the Maastricht Edition. And if you want to discover events, concerts, and cultural activities going on in Maastricht and the surrounding areas, head on over to the website of our partner, Maastrichter.com. If a historical city walking tour is more your thing, check out Meet Maastricht, the key to your city. And finally, don't forget that you can always find us on the Maastricht Edition Facebook page, on YouTube, on Redbubble, and on Instagram. For all the details, check out themaastrichtedition.nl.
Nicely done, our Trace.
Thank you, darling.
Lovely jubbly. So we're going to be able to fly to London soon.
Well, it's quite interesting. Well, it's London Stansted. It's a bit of a trek into central London, but still.
Yeah.
It is handy if you're in this area of the Netherlands that you don't have to go all the way to Amsterdam or Eindhoven.
Absolutely, yes.
It's much closer, and if you're going, even if you fly one way, to get there and come back a different way, it's certainly a nice option.
Yeah. They have had this before, though, haven't they?
They used to have Flybe that was traveling over the line, but I think that didn't quite take off. Excuse the pun.
Dear.
But nice to know that Ryanair is coming back, and you never know. It might be the start of some other routes coming up. So I'm always in hope of Maastricht to Cork. That would be nice. So who knows?
That would be handy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
Now, I don't suppose there's going to be any flights to South Africa anytime soon, but
from Maastricht, probably not.
I don't think so, which would be very handy for our guest that's coming on now, because we're going to have Zander joining us from Suz Shoes, and you'll be able to tell straight away when he starts talking a very distinctive South African accent. So I can hear you. Can't see you as yet. Can you see him, Tracy?
Can you not see me?
We can hear you very well, but sadly no picture as yet, Zander. But
let's just check.
It's just It's just George the Gremlin. He shows up every now and again, you know. Next month we'll have some elves, I'm sure.
Yeah,
you
Ah,
go.
there
you can see me now.
he is.
Fantastic.
Hello, Zander. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Jo.
Lovely to see you. So, well, we have an awful lot to talk about here because, yes, we're going to be talking about shoes, but there's so much more to this going on because, as I said, there is a South African connection. But let's talk about you first. How did you end up in Maastricht, and how did you end up getting shoes from South Africa over here?
Okay, so let's start with me in Maastricht. Originally I'm from the Cape Winelands area, close to Cape Town, about 30 minutes from Cape Town. And I moved to Maastricht in 2018 with my partner. My partner is doing his PhD at the University of Maastricht. So that is our primary reason for being in Maastricht. Yes. In South Africa, I worked in the interior design branch as well as in an art gallery. And at present in Maastricht, I work at Marais House for Contemporary Culture in the Kapashenestraat. I'm not sure if you know of it.
Yes.
Oh, well, this sounds like we should have him on for another show, Tracy. There's lots going on here.
There is a lot. Well, the Marais is a beautiful conceptual space, very nice spot, and there's also
Very
a
conceptual.
nice kitchen area as well next door, so you can also eat as well. So very good spot. Yeah, very
It
nice.
is.
It must be a joy to work there.
It is. It really is.
So how does the connection with shoes fit in with all of this?
Okay, so my mother is a shoe designer from South Africa, and let me just, sorry, I've got a few notes here just to
Oh, wow.
things.
It's so nice. Normally our guests don't have any notes, so this is the treat. Yeah.
Although I'd like to hazard a guess, you might know some stuff about your mum.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so my mother started a company in South Africa in 2015. The name is Suz Shoes. Her name is Suzette Plakker, so that's where Suz comes from. My mother's always been a very creative person, and her background is in interior design. And, well, now she's a shoe designer. So the business really took off after she appeared on a television program in South Africa. And she was subsequently also featured in 1 or 2 magazines. And yes.
Well, do they have a show out there called The Shoe Factor or something like that?
No, it's like a type of a lifestyle type show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Okay, so let me...
So somebody saw the shoes and went, oh, I'm liking that. And then from there, it kind of grew.
That's correct.
Excellent. So how did that make the journey over to the Netherlands?
So a lot of people ask me, should I not import them to the Netherlands? Because they said this really is a regional product. There's really a market on this side. So in the beginning of the year, we visited South Africa, and then I bought, I think it was 3 pairs with me, and I showed them to some people on this side, and the opinion was really very positive. So I then registered a company at the Chamber of Commerce in Roermond. And I must say, I'm not sure if you know Marcel van Casteren. He works with an organization called Status Centrum Zuid-Limburg.
Oh.
He's a business consultant. He really helped me a lot with all the technical details, and because really it is not easy starting a company on this side if you're not clued up with all the technicalities and all of that.
Yeah.
So I would really recommend him for expats. Well, that's what he specializes in, helping.
Excellent. What was his name again?
Marcel van Casteren.
Shout out to Marcel. Excellent.
So the organization's name is, let me just double check, it's Status Centrum Zuid-Limburg.
Excellent.
Indeed.
Okay.
I believe that this company actually works in conjunction with the expat centre sometimes. I know that if you happen to pass by the fabulous Sam and you're looking to start a new company, I think eventually you'll end up with Marcel in any case. But really good to give a shout out there. Very good to keep that on people's radars at the moment.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think for so many people that will come to a new country thinking, oh yeah, I want to start my own business. It's lovely to have all these ideas, but putting it into practice, of course, there's a minefield of bureaucracy, and it can get very confusing. So if you have somebody who can hold your hand, that makes so much difference.
It makes a huge difference, really, a huge difference.
Awesome.
So once you'd got yourself all official, what happened then?
Okay, so let me just tell you a bit about the shoes. So the shoes are made using a combination of leather and hand-stitched embroidery or tapestries. So the tapestry would usually be in the form of either needlepoint or petit point. I'm not sure if you've clued up about the difference.
No, I know needlepoint, but I don't know petit point.
Petit point is just a finer form of needlepoint.
Okay.
Yeah. So what makes the shoes really unique is the fact that each and every pair has a unique and individual design. So it can be called, a once-off piece. And this is specifically important in a society dominated by so-called fast fashion. So it really is something unique to have. And then also different colors of leather are used in combination with this. It varies from olive green, navy, turmeric, maroon, beige, blush, tan, black. Obviously, then depending on the design of the tapestry itself, then my mother would decide, okay, this would work with black, or this would work with blush, or whatever the case might be.
I have to say, when I think of Africa, I do think bold colours, bold designs, bright colours. So this is being translated into the shoes then.
Definitely, and definitely my mother is a very colorful person. If you see her, you would know it's my mother. She's a very colorful person.
So the tapestry part of the shoe then is actually being handmade.
Yeah, that's all hand stitched. So it's all hand stitched, and then the shoe is then made in combination with the hand stitched tapestry. I have two examples with me that I can show to the camera. Okay, so this is a T-bar design shoe.
Yes.
Let me just zoom it in there. You can see the
needle. There's a lot of detail there. It's a shame you're not wearing them, Zander.
Possibly not his size.
Probably not.
Can we look at the heel? Is it a big heel or is it a flat?
It's a small heel. I think it's about
a wedge.
It's about 3 centimeters, I think.
Oh, so this is lovely.
This is a summer design called the T-bar, and then this is a classic loafer design. I hope I'm showing.
Oh wow!
Oh gosh!
So there you can see the tapestry part.
Oh, it's a little bird.
Yes,
it's a blue tit, I think, but I'm not. It's upside down. Very pretty.
So the question that you had about the difference between needlepoint and petit point, you can see the needlepoint is this section, and then the bird where there's a lot more detail is then.
Much finer. Wow, very nice. And Zander, how does it work? I mean, you have the store. You've kind of got a physical store in Maastricht, right? And is that, or do people only order online? How does it work if somebody wanted to get a pair of those T-bar shoes, for example?
At the moment, I have a shop in Maastricht that stocks them, but their mandate ends the end of this month, so it's basically 5 days' time. And then I also have a lady in, I think it's called Kindle. It's in Brabant, close to Eindhoven, but also is now starting to stock them. But I am planning on also then selling them, let's say, privately. So I think the best would be is to look at her Instagram page, and there's then also a link to a website, or it's not really a website, it's a web shop actually. But then to have an overall overall idea of what the shoes look like. At the moment, I only have 2 designs in the Netherlands. It's the loafer design and then another design called the Amelie boot. So it's a short boot. I must say, I think the Amelie boot is probably the most popular design. of all the designs so far. But also depending on whether it's summer or winter, that also definitely plays a big role.
It's very true. But a boot is fabulous in all seasons. I am fond of a boot, I must say. So
I'm really sorry that I don't have an example of the boot. Unfortunately, I don't have one with me. They are all currently at the shop in...
Don't worry. It gives people a good reason to check online and have a look and suss out the collection.
Absolutely. So going forward then, Zander, what's the bigger picture? Are there going to be new designs coming online, expansion into other countries?
I'm definitely going to start with a website for the Netherlands specifically, because the details that I gave you specifically for the one in South Africa. So that is the next plan, to establish a website on this side to sell them, and then also to approach other shops in different areas in the Netherlands, closer to the Randstad, I think, and then other areas in Europe. Well, since starting the company or registering it, I can now basically do business any place in Europe. So looking at France, Belgium, maybe, there's a lot of possibilities.
Absolutely. France is a very good one. French ladies do like their shoes.
They definitely do.
Yes. Zander, may I ask you a rather perhaps strange question? You speak about how you're using the tapestries and various leathers. Is there in the future a plan to potentially develop shoes using vegan leather, or is this something that wouldn't be for your particular shoe type?
That is definitely a possibility. I have not specifically considered it, but yes, that can definitely be a possibility.
Yeah, I see a growing market for this. So it's a nice option to have. It sounds very exciting, doesn't it? Very cool.
So the process, I don't know how much you know about the process from your mum's side as far as the actual design, getting these designs together. Do you know if she's sitting there with a pen and paper and just sort of sketching out some designs? She gets a inspiration maybe from the world around her?
So what happens is she buys the tapestries from all over, or she sources them primarily in South Africa.
Okay.
So it's tapestries that they were fashionable, I would know exactly, let's say 50 years ago, and people will hang them on the walls, and it's just not fashionable anymore. So she would then buy those and then take them out of the frames and then, upcycle them into shoes. So depending on the design of the tapestry, let's say it is like the one with the birds, then she would specifically see, okay, this part of the tapestry I can use. But sometimes it would be a large tapestry and only a small piece can be used. So that is then, my mother then does the whole design process, deciding which part of the tapestry can be used. Let's say maybe can 2 pairs be made out of tapestry, but that's all the design prerogative.
So that makes the shoes quite unique then.
Yes,
indeed.
It definitely does. It definitely does.
Very special, but lovely to know that these old tapestries are getting a new life, which is quite cool. That's really nice as well. Zander, is the collection currently only for ladies, or does she also plan on making tapestry shoes for men, perhaps?
She has in the past made shoes for men, but primarily at the moment focusing on ladies.
Yes, okay. There you go.
Excellent. Well, I think it's fascinating. I think the shoes look fantastic. I'm sure they're going to be an astonishing success. So we wish you all the luck in the world. We'll put all your social media stuff onto our posts at the end of the show. Thank you so much, Zander, for coming on, and give our best wishes to your mum. And if she's ever in town, we'll get her on the show. It's she sounds like a lovely lady.
She is, and thank you for the opportunity to be on your show. Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure, Zander. Keep us posted, and as we said, the best of luck to you. Thanks ever so much,
Zander.
Thanks,
Zander. Bye-bye.
Take care now. Bye.
Oh, very nice.
They look lovely.
I tell you, the thing is, these days, it's these unique fashion items can really, they just they can just finish off an outfit,
Absolutely.
whether it's a tapestry handbag. And we didn't talk about the bags actually, because I think they in the title it's fabric arts, bags and shoes and bags.
Yes.
So I'd venture there might also be a tapestry bag out there perhaps, but do check it out online and see what
I don't know how you feel about this, Tracy. I think, let's be honest, you're more of a shopper of clothing than I am. But I kind of get the impression these days, because people can shop more online and there's more options out there, that maybe people are getting a little tired of your bog standard high street shops and are looking for something that's a little more unique and kind of more in flavour with the way people want to dress in a particular way, or sort of shows their character.
Well, I mean, uniqueness how you dress or whatever. It's so personal. I mean, not everybody wants to look uniform. And if you go to the high street shops, I mean, you're bound to buy a dress and end up at a party where someone has the same dress. It's very likely.
That's the thing, isn't it?
So I think these days also, like Zander mentioned about fast fashion, it does seem to be fading out, which is a good thing. And I think the old adage of sort of investing in one good quality item versus having 10 t-shirts instead of having one good quality one. And I mean, if you look at the high street, certainly in the United Kingdom, how many of these old school, cheaper stores have kind of gone into bankruptcy over the last couple of years? And I think indeed these types of online forums, particularly with COVID, it does seem to be the way to go. And you're clicking online, something catches your eye, and that's if you're kind of battling with many other online retailers, you need something different, different selling point, that USP.
Well, one thing I learned when I moved here actually was the versatility of scarves. That the Dutch do love a scarf, and if, as you say, if you have that one good suit or one good dress, you can wear it many times, but as long as you have a different scarf every time you wear it, it looks like
it's all.
And I have a drawer, like most people. I have a drawer packed full of scarves.
Yeah, darling, it's all about how you accessorize, absolutely. You must have your basic piece and then you just go wild. But it's really very, very interesting. And we do wish, we were speaking before we came on air, we do wish Zander and his mum every success with this. And, very exciting to have something so unique right here in Limburg, which is quite cool.
Absolutely. Now, something else that's rather lovely in the city centre is the City Hall. And this week, from me to Maastricht, we have the lovely Lucy, who's going to be telling us all about it.
Ooh, we love Lucy. I love Lucy. That's a TV show, right?
Hello there. For another episode of your weekly 5 minutes of history and heritage, I thought today I would talk to you a little bit about the City Hall. It's an imposing, elegant, very rich looking building in the middle of the market. I suppose you have seen it. Going to the market square to do your shopping, just sauntering about the city, sitting on a terrace there in the good weather. You've seen the City Hall. These days, when it is dark very early, it is still lovely to wander about the city with all the lights everywhere. And since the grand restoration of City Hall just a few years ago, they have installed LED lights all over everywhere, which means that now, of course, the cost of having them on all the time is greatly reduced. So walk by of an evening and see how all the gorgeous chandeliers are lit. And from the square around the building, you can look into the gorgeous rooms with their tapestries, with their stucco ceilings, and with the painted glass in several of them. Also, the tower is lit up on the inside, and you can see impressive wooden beams supporting the structure, and you can see the bells. Of course, every self-respecting city hall or public building of some sort in the Netherlands will have a carillon, as the Maastrichtenaren will say, a carillon. It's a set of bells that can be played either manually or with a sort of automatic drum, and it will indicate time. So every 15 minutes there will be some sort of a jingle, but it can also be used as a concert instrument. So every building, generally churches or city halls, that has a set of these bells will also have a person responsible for playing them and making sure that people can enjoy the music raining down on them. The bejaardier, as that's called, the bejaard player of Maastricht today is Frank Steens, who is also a violin player in the orchestra of André Rieu. And he is up for absolutely anything, really. His latest stunt was playing a song by a hard rock metal group. Find it. Frank Steens. Of course, that's not the main function of a city hall. You do realize that. The main function of a city hall is to provide a fitting backdrop for a city's administration. And in Maastricht, that has always been really interesting, because for centuries and centuries, until the French Revolution, late 18th century, Maastricht always had two lords. One was the Prince Bishop of Liège, or Luik, just to the south, and the other was an assortment of rulers succeeding royal or noble houses, and eventually leading to the estates of the Low Countries. So what is now the Netherlands, which we here in Maastricht are really only part of since the last quarter of the 19th century. Very, very recent. Only ever a colony up to then. So two lords, which explains partly why the gorgeous city hall has this double stairway leading up to it. I mean, one lord could not take precedent over another. So they had to be able to ascend the stairs at the same time. This sense of balance was also necessitated by the architectural principles that were applied. The architect, Pieter Post, built in the Holland Baroque style, which emphasizes balance, equilibrium, and a stern kind of elegance. And the elegance has been greatly aided also by the tapestries, which came from Flanders, by the plaster ceilings, which were done by an Italian, with the beautiful wooden furniture that came from Liège, making the Maastricht City Hall a beautiful microcosm of what Maastricht is, a mixture of cultures. Go and have a look.
Lovely, Lucy, there from Meet Maastricht. Thank you so much. Interesting stuff there about the City Hall. And I think we've probably got some interesting stuff coming up on the Titty Bitties now, Tracy. What have you got for us?
Sadly, not at all as interesting as Lucy. I'm sorry. I mean, no one can top that. Lucy's just a star. Well, very quickly, I have a quick Tracy's Tasty Titty Bitties. If you are looking for some home delivery fries in Maastricht, then I could recommend Lucky Luke's on the Annersplein. So very nice. Yes, we order from them at least once a week. So very, very nice. And the quality is always good. So if you're doing takeout and you want them delivered home, it's a good option. What else have we got? Yes, as Jo mentioned earlier, as I've mentioned earlier, as you all very well know at this point in time, watch out on social media because things may be changing in the coming week. So just make sure you don't end up going someplace that's been closed. In the meantime, you can also consider a few little options. For example, this is quite a nice one. It's to do with donkeys. I love donkeys. I do. They're the poor things. They're sometimes the most abused of the animals, the poor donkeys. I'm very proud sponsor of Lorcan the donkey at the Donkey Sanctuary in Ireland, where I come from. But here in Maastricht, they also love donkeys. And there's a place called the Azelis, Azel meaning donkey in Dutch. So this is the Azelis Maastricht. And they offer the following. I'll just read what they say. Sometimes you need to take a break from everyday life. Isn't that the truth? Absolutely. Well, just to be in the nature, in the forest, and potentially to enjoy the presence of some donkeys and give them a cuddle because they're so sweet. So this local company are offering gift vouchers that you can buy, and this allows you to give a gift to someone where they can actually go and have a little walk through the forest in the company of a little donkey. Obviously not sitting on them because that's just cruel, but walking in front, and they like carrots and ginger nut biscuits, so you can keep that one in mind. And also, I have to say it, Jo, this is our last show for November. We're moving in. It is. We're moving into December and the time of all things jolly. So we're going to be probably getting slowly Christmassy-fied in the coming weeks. You have been warned, people. But already, as of kind of this weekend, I believe it's officially allowed to put up your Christmas tree. So some people do it quite early, some people late. But you can go to Intertown and get a tree, or you can maybe do an alternative type of tree this year. But there is also a place here in Maastricht that is, I think it's as of yesterday, Wednesday, where you can go and buy your Christmas tree from there. It's just on the border with Vroonhoven. I don't have the name of the place here, but we can find that out later. I just have the details about how to get there. But we can have a look and see. But Kerstboom Maastricht. And so they're open as of yesterday. And I'm sure if you search Kerstboom Maastricht, you'll probably find these people. They're open every day from 9 till 7 p.m. pending the closing time, of course, and Saturdays and Sundays as well. And you can pop by and pick out a Christmas tree. So, I have a special request for Christmas this year. If you are buying a real tree, please buy one that still has the roots and stuff, because you can put it in your garden afterwards and it can continue to live. You see, we have two Christmas trees that are still living and happy outside. So, yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Just a few things. And of course, keep an eye out on Maastrichter, keep an eye out on Meet Maastricht, keep an eye out on #Maastricht, keep an eye out on support your local business South Limburg Facebook page, and see what might take you.
Absolutely. Yeah, the support your local business page is a really good source. There's a lot of companies that are posting on there telling you about their delivery service, what the Christmas special offers. Of course, it's Black Friday tomorrow, so there's going to be a lot of online shopping going on, but a lot of the local businesses here are offering some special offers, and they'll have it delivered to your home as well. So keep an eye out for that too. We've come to the end of the show.
Oh, we made it. We're late. It's 10 past.
I know. We just we don't know when to stop. We are going to have to stop. We are going to have to. And as Tracy said, it's the last one of November. We shall be back next week in December. And things are going to start getting Christmassy, whether you like it or not. It is coming. Have a fabulous week. Whatever it is that you're doing, do it safely. Keep an eye out on the news as to what is or is not happening. And we shall see you next Thursday. Thanks ever so much for joining us. See you next week. Take care now. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.